Welcome to the Black Men Think podcast. If this is your first time here, know that the views and opinions expressed by the Black Men Think podcast are those of the Black Men Think podcast and not the individual members. With that being said, we're about to be unapologetically, undeniably black. Enjoy.
All right, so welcome to the Black Man Think podcast, man. We're doing something a little bit different right now. So if you are on Patreon, you're seeing this live. We're live. We're testing out our live. We're trying to see how this works out and see if this is something that we can do moving forward. But welcome to the Black Man Think podcast, where we elevate our black man because black men be out here thinking. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
Cooling, tired.
Definitely tired.
Bro, I'm tired, bro. Like, I'm talking about, I've been in the car, and I'm on the passenger side because, like, wifey was driving, but, like, bro, you know that type of tired where you 4 minutes into the drive, you just like,
oh, you gone, man.
Yeah, them be the worst, bro. And then you got a ways to go.
man, I couldn't explain. I was like, I think I woke up at like 4 something, and doing that move you was talking about, like trying to go back to sleep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bruh, tossing and turning, then looking over, and it's like, oh man, it's just 4:30.
Right. The best thing, don't even look at the clock.
Yeah, that's the worst, dog. That jump mess everything.
Bro,
up.
mess you up, bro.
You look at the clock, it's over. And don't pull your phone out. You ain't going. You definitely not going back to sleep.
Yeah, that's the part I'll try. Like, all right, let me not pick up the phone because it's involuntary at this point. You just pick up the phone, just trying to like, don't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Tossed over again. 5. I'm like, bro, these are 30-minute increments. Like, I'm not really slow, so I don't know what was going on last night, boy. But yeah, I'm feeling it right now for sure. Feeling it. But sip of the week.
Go ahead, bro.
Tonight, we got some, old school. We're going Hennessy VSOP.
Okay.
You've had this, I'm sure.
This is the Black Man Think podcast.
It's the Black Man Think podcast. I kind of find it hard to believe you ain't had no Hennessy. If you ain't had no Hennessy, then like, hey, shout out to you. But that's what we on tonight. Something simple, but
Simple tonight.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man. So we got a couple. We'll do one question. We'll save the other question, right? But ask a black man. I think this is a perfect time to do it.
Before you do that,
go ahead.
We ain't seen him in a while.
You sure?
I feel like it.
You maybe about a week, probably about maybe one or 2 episodes, probably.
Maybe I just ain't seen you. Dog, good to see you, dog.
No, yeah, because
Tori was here. I think you were here too. I think.
No, last episode it was just me, Tori, and Mark.
Yeah, I wasn't here the last episode.
And then the episode before that, I think you did. Oh, I know what happened. Me and you did an episode by ourselves.
Oh, okay, yeah, when you were coming.
And then, and then he was leaving. Yeah, that's what
My
happened.
mistake.
Yeah,
that's all. Hey, good to see you, though.
Good to see you too, sir.
Man. I know y'all be busy and stuff, man.
Hey, man, look, at this point, bro, we got to celebrate our wins. When we see our brothers, we see our brothers for real. So
Straight up.
I ain't mad at that. Like, ask those questions. But ask a black man segment. So, got a question from Walt. Shout out to Walt. And Walt actually sending us a nice little package to Homes Homes Hydration.
Okay.
Just he sent the care package
what's
last
up, Walt?
time. But it's crazy because like I'm looking, you look at the tracking and it's like, bro, it's been in Atlanta for like 4 or 5 days. I want to hit him and tell him like, bro, it's gone, bro. Like, it's gone.
Cloud,
look,
dog.
somebody don't got it, and but look, if y'all do have it, check this out, check the products out, and make sure y'all shout my dog out, bro. Because more than likely that package out of here.
It's all right.
It was supposed to be here like last Friday, bro. It's gone.
It ended up where it was supposed to.
Does it?
It's a how it go. Your package, and this is going through USPS.
Oh, okay.
But your package, is still en route. Blah blah blah. The good old saying where it's like somebody don't grabbed it. It's stuck in transit or whatever it say. But shout out
mail people. They got it.
Yeah, they got it for sure. But shout out to Walt, man. He asked a question. I thought it was like very great topic of conversation for tonight. But he says, how do you manage stalled relationships? That's kind of small, that boy, that you're holding on to the length of a relationship as the reason to keep it.
Can you repeat that again?
All right. how do you manage stalled relationships that you're holding on to, because of the length of the relationship as a reason to keep it? So, other words, like
you've been in long terms.
Yeah.
y'all been friends since middle school.
You feel like you done invested a certain amount of time where it's like you in this thing,
Right.
but it's stale.
Like, how do you manage that?
So I guess I'm trying to figure out what kind of are we talking about? Like, I guess we have to.
It could be
approach
either
it
or.
from different angles.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because
Speak to all of it.
it's it's different if it's is this a romantic relationship, intimate relationship, or is just like friends who you don't see like going places? Or
Let's attack it from both angles then. So let's start with like a relationship, right?
Romantic.
I mean, we can go with a romantic relationship. I mean, I can't really speak on that as knowledgeable because I ain't really had like no long relationships. But I mean, I know y'all both been in.
Yeah, I mean, I think, man, I mean, communication. I mean, that's what it boiled down to. Like, I mean, you're just gonna have to have an open conversation about the situation. If you feel like it's something there and you want to continue on, I mean, it's best to talk about it. I mean, that's gonna be step one. So I mean, I mean, that's gonna tell you whatever you need to know right there.
Go ahead.
If you planning to move to the next level, like he didn't put. Did he say any? Just okay.
Just blanket.
Yeah,
blanket it.
Because I mean, like it's all about what you want, what you're looking for, what's your purpose, or are you looking to take it to the next level, or are you just want to continue to kick it? So I mean, you just gonna have to talk about it. I mean, that's why I say you start.
Yeah, I feel like you got to define like what a stalled mean, because I mean, from this situation, I'm assuming one person feels that way.
That's what it. That's what it seems like.
Right.
I don't want to speak for him, but that's what it seemed like. It's one sided.
Right. And so it make you wonder, what does the other person feel? Like,
Right.
Is this something that is blatantly, because I've been in a relationship before where it was like it's clear something different.
Something different. Right.
Or you can be in a situation. I've been in a situation too where the one person, whether it's on my side or the other side, where it's like, all right, something switched up, but the other person definitely is not on the same wavelength. They think, y'all in your best days and all kind of stuff. And you might be like, this ain't it.
This ain't it.
I
will say I've been in situationships. Because I'm being honest with myself, bro. Like, I can't say relationships because I didn't define them as relationships at the time. Now, they may, if I'm being honest, they really were relationships, but it was just, I like to play the gray area. That's something I learned about myself, right?
Yeah.
But I will say that I've been in those gray area situations knowing that it wasn't going to go anywhere, but it was like, we having fun. It's cool. Like, you can always kind of play it off as like, man, I'm young, like, whatever.
It was a time filler.
Man, damn, boy, that's a word. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like, it was a real time filler to where, in my mind, it could have went either way. Like, this could have blossomed into something serious and like, it would have been worth it. Or it could have just went like, oh, our time is up. And it's like, all right, cool. It's, we had fun while it lasted. But I know those situations, like looking back on it now as a grown man, bro, like you wasted a lot of time with I won't even say with the wrong people, but you wasted a lot of time knowing that the time was over with, but you just kind of like, I'm here. You know what I mean? So it's tough, bro. It's tough to move on, especially when you're in certain parts of your life. Romantically, I think it's tough to move on because let's keep it above. Like, you getting everything you want.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's the need to move on when y'all going on nice dates, everybody having a good time, like the time together is fun. And it'll be different if like y'all were in like a tumultuous like relationship where everything was just like y'all always at each other's neck and like it was always this arguing. If it wasn't none of that, bro, it's kind of like, I mean, we just kind of kicking it. Whatever happened.
I mean, I guess it depends on the people's priorities too.
True.
Maybe somebody that's starting to feel like this don't really align, this don't match up with my long-term plan, or maybe you start seeing like, honestly, this relationship is only for A, B, and C, and XYZ ain't never gonna come, you know.
Right.
And the other person might not feel that way. So I mean, I think it go back to what Corey said. I think that communication is necessary. And it might be a hard conversation. It might be something that's surprising. It might be heartbreaking to somebody, you know. But, I mean, you got to really weigh the why, you know.
So I want to stop right there because you said a word that I don't think we've ever talked about on this podcast.
Okay.
Heartbreak.
Heartbreak.
Oh. Like, have you, I mean, there's no way to not experience heartbreak as a grown man at this point. Like at some point, somebody has broken your heart, whether you want to admit it or not.
You
like,
talking about romantically, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Romantically, yeah. Like, do you remember your first heartbreak?
Yeah. I'm gonna take a sip on that now.
So let's talk about that, in you know, in the best way that we possibly can, right? Like we can be respectable with all parties, but
no names, no, you know.
Yeah. But do you like what was that like for you, that first heartbreak?
It was maturing in a sense of like I think you get a real nice shot of reality.
And before you move on, can we define, because I don't want to say like certain, but can we define like middle school, high school, college?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, honestly, because, you know, I mean, granted, I mean, I done had a few relationships that done went south. So, you know, I've had more than one. I'm trying to remember when that first one that I would have like really defined,
when it mattered.
Like that was the one. Yeah. That was the heartbreak right there. I mean, I can jokingly say like there was a middle school when, you know, but I mean, you come on, like you a little young whippersnapper, you know what I'm saying? You just
didn't mean
you bounce back.
You bounce back.
Next week.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Next couple days.
Right. It was just one day.
Get that AOL message from somebody.
You've got new mail.
Right. Yeah. Well, all right.
I'm back in the game now, baby.
Nah, really, I would say college was probably like that first one, you know?
Definitely.
And it was interesting. It took a minute. You know, took a minute to bounce back from. Boy, I had to ask my boy Ace for make me a drink. You know what I'm saying? At the party, if y'all remember correctly. I think that was my first alcoholic beverage. But you know.
And that's wild because, like, we talk about a time when Marlon did not drink at all. Like, this was like...
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's like... I mean, you know, life be life, but that's just what it was. Like, Marlon... Nah, it was cool. It was like, brother, I need to drink.
Yeah, it was one of them. It was one of them.
Been down here ever since.
Nah, but that was interesting, man. But I would say I think it was maturing. It was like it just kind of reality of like, oh, okay, this is not always going to be a dream type of experience necessarily. You know, but it gives you a lot of experience going into that next one. You kind of have a lot more perspective, you know. So that was interesting.
Corey?
I would say probably. As an adult for me.
Yeah.
Like, especially like when you get to the point where you're trying to be intentional, like you're in a relationship. Okay, I'm focused. I'm gonna, you know, do everything I can. Then when the other party don't pull through and do their part with the communication and, you know, mainly the communicating part is just like, that's a heartbreaking thing, a heartbreaking experience. You know, like I said, because I'm going in with the mindset that, hey, I'm not playing around.
Right.
I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and then when the other person don't show up, you're like, man.
Like, what's up?
Right. Feel taken advantage of or something.
Yeah. But I mean, I never felt like, man, it's just like, because I was trying to be intentional, it didn't work out. Now I'm just going to be out here and be a dog because, you know, and then, that's what I need. I never felt like that or try to take it out on somebody else. But yeah, probably, definitely for sure adulthood.
I think for me, man, I have two for sure. Like one college and the other one adulthood. But like when I look back on the one in college, it wasn't really. I was devastated when I got the information, And I won't go into the story of the information because it's like very sensitive information. Like I don't want to put that person up under the bus.
Because I don't think we have tissues out here either.
No. But it's just like, you know how like, I'll say this, like for me in college, it was a situation where you thought you was building with somebody or something. And you realize at the moment, like, y'all ain't building nothing. Y'all on two opposite, like, y'all on parallel roads. Y'all going toward the same direction. But what you don't know is it's a roadblock ahead. Like your street is a dead end. That person's street is not. And so for that, it was just like one of those moments where it was just like, dog, this ain't gonna work for like many reasons. But it was just like, let's just go ahead and call this is what this is. And then like, let's move on from it. And so that situation, it was heartbreaking, but it was also like eye-opening, and it was like still safe because we were able to like, all right, this is what we are. Let's define this and like, let's move on. And like, everybody was cool. It wasn't like a life over with type situation. You know what I'm saying? My adulthood one was different because in adulthood, it came during a time where when we all hit that season of like, bro, it's time to change our life. And so you change your life and you do everything that you feel is the right way. And like, bro, this is the first time in my life that I had ever been ghosted. Like legit ghosted on some. It's crazy because I think we was experiencing some of the same thing at the same time. But like, bro, like your boy was ghosted to the point where, and the crazy part was this was a season of I'm doing everything the right way. Like let's get to know each other. Let's talk. Let's go, and like we ain't even going on dates for real, but we just like getting to know each other intimately and like having real conversation about everything. Bro, I never forget, dog. Like we were supposed to meet at church in Macon. I don't care. Like she probably, I don't. But anyway, but get to Macon. I'm living in Atlanta at the time now, so like get to Macon, pull up to the church. I was just like, yo, where you at? No answer. I was like, all right, whatever, cool. And this is like a church that I wouldn't even go to, but like whatever, being support, like. Like hit again, like you coming or like what's up? No answer. So I'm like, all right, I'm just at church by myself, but like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Get out of church, and then like, I think like maybe an hour or two go by, and then I was like, oh yeah, like it hit me back with some like, yeah, I couldn't do it, and I'm like, okay, but just like whatever, and then next thing you know, like just no conversation after that, and I'm like, what, like. What is this? Yeah. And bro, what I tell you, this is email days. I received a email from said person detailing the reason why this is not gonna work. And like the email was on some like, yo, I think you're a good person. Like, I really think that we supposed to like be together, but God is telling me you're not the one. Yeah. And I couldn't face you. Like, it was on some, like, I know if we would have been face to face, like, you would have talked me out of it type thing. Like, yeah. But, like, God said, like, you ain't the one. So, like, and that was it, right? Last communication. I don't even think I replied to the email. Just on, actually, the email was like, don't even reply. Yeah. Like, allow me to have this space of, like, this is it. Like, this is just, I was like, this is different. I had never experienced anything like that because, like, any situationship, like I like to call it, that I've had, has always been a defining, hey, we done. Yeah. This is like, it was fun, like, but it's over with. Like, we not moving any further, But that was like the first time it was like, boom. But I always tell the story that happened, bro, and like maybe 2 or 3 months later, I like get introduced to my wife. So it was just like, oh, I see what you was doing, God.
Be working in mysterious ways,
you know what I'm saying? But like, at the time, I'm like, what? Like, I'm over here like boo-hooing at the crib. Like, what? Like, I don't even understand this, but like that just, it's just funny how God be working.
He do be funny, boy.
He told her, because he definitely didn't tell me. I was like, I was trying to work this
You wouldn't
out.
have got the message, dog.
Oh, bro, this was like one of them girls who I always liked growing up. So it was kind of like, one, bro. I was like trying to go back and get like the one that I always liked, and it was just like God was like.
That's why we was dealing with it at the same time.
Yeah, it was the same situation. Yeah, same situation, bro.
Hey, at least you still went to church, man. I thought you were gonna be like, I just rolled out, went back to the crib, man.
No, I mean, because in the now, like, oh, she gonna pull up.
Yeah, right.
He gonna say it like, no, she
gonna get us a seat.
Oh, like, yeah.
You go in denial.
Yeah, but I was letting it out for real, bro. I was just like, hey, she gonna come at some point, but no, she ain't pull up. Straight ghost.
Those the one be the heartbreak, man. When you be like, man, hey, look, I'm gonna do everything I'm supposed to do, or I think I should do. You know, try to communicate, and then they hit you with that. Nope. It'd be like,
it'd be the surprise, like, man. Something, man. It's the surprise, bro.
But man, I always figure. I mean, you know, like, it hurt, but when you look back on it, you be like, man, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Because I always been a believer that it's somebody for everybody, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
If y'all meant to be, y'all meant to be. You know, whatever the situation is, you know, you can't force it.
Right.
You just don't have that clarity in the moment.
Right. Oh yeah,
you ready to throw something. Yeah. No, what's funny is like I done experienced the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
But after that, I realized I literally I gave that same scenario to somebody else, like literally almost a similar situation, similar to yours, where it was just like random. Like you just get this message from God and just like, this ain't it. And that person is not ready for that. And granted, it's like you have clarity on it. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, you also probably not in this position where you're like ready to deliver this correctly. And there ain't no right way for that to happen. I mean, especially if like y'all deeply invested. And I had to be cold one day. It was a bad one. Like I think one of my situations where like later in life I legit had to reach out to that person and apologize because of how I handled it. I think mine was like
it was that bad.
It was bad, dog. It was like legit. And granted, I was immature, young, you know, like in my probably mid-20s, on some like, hey, you know, I know the New Year's coming to an end, but I can't go into the New Year like this. Dog, it was cold. I ain't gonna lie, dog. Like it was cold. It was bad, bro. Like it was cold, dog. It was
that hurt me.
To this day, boy. Like it was.
Come December 31st about 6 p.m.
Hey, the piece about to drop, cuz.
That's how I gotta let you go before I go to the go.
God told me it's not going into the new year, and you know, that was an extremely.
So it didn't really go into the new year.
I'm dead serious. Like it was an extremely immature way to handle what I knew needed to be handled.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like I knew what I knew, and that wasn't the one. You know, and later on, seriously, like, you know, it's just, I think we all sitting there like probably having a come to Jesus moment at some point, and it was like, bro, we need to like, we did some grimy, we gotta make this stuff right. And granted, you know, I don't think I even got a response from any of those people I reached out to, but it's just the fact that like you needed to go ahead and get that closure out there. Like, look, all I know is whatever I did, whatever I said, I apologize. Like that was the wrong way to go about it. I hope you're well. Just know that like none of that was meant to destroy you or anything of that nature. And you know, had I been a more mature person, I would have handled it this way.
Yeah,
so, you know,
the maturity is. Oh my God, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say the unfortunate part is you probably just open up a can of worms.
100%.
Because she was over it. Like she was just like, so man, you know, that is the funny thing, bro. Because fun fact, like, so the girl I was talking about, she called me probably like 6. No,
I was a kid.
No, I don't even know. Like, but she called me maybe like 6 months after that happened. But at that time, I had started dating Trina, right? So, and she called, and I saw the number because I had deleted the number out of the phone. But you know, this was at a time where you still knew the number, right? Yeah. So I looked at the number. I was like, "No, bro, we ain't doing that. We ain't even doing that." Yeah. Like on some.
That's that test right there. Bro.
Yeah, it was that test, but it was like I was so locked in on Trina, bro, because it was the first time that I had been in that situation where it was nothing like I wanted it. Like I didn't know her. It wasn't somebody I met. Like I got introduced, like blind date, all of this stuff. And I was just like, bro, it's too many things that are happening that I wouldn't do. And it feels right. So I'm like, I'm not entertaining anything. I think the last thing that I did that, crazy enough, it was out of character, but I wasn't trying to be out of character. Like I remember we had a conversation about I had went to a Braves game, and this was probably like 2 or 3 months after we had like started dating officially. And I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, man, shoot, she brought Braves tickets. I'm going to the game with her because she brought me. You know, I'm a diehard Braves fan, so I'm like, bro, this is free tickets to the game. I ain't thinking nothing of it. And I found out later on, like one of her friends was like, "You cool with JD going to the game with this girl?" Like,
oh, it was the same girl?
No, this was the old.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But she was like, "No, I don't care." She told me this is like a later conversation. She was like, "No, because if he goes that way, then like that's on him."
Yeah.
Like I'm not. He told me what it was, and if it ain't that, then he's a liar, and then it's gonna work itself out anyway. I ain't worried about that, right? And so like, cause I told her, I was like, yeah, I got tickets to the game, and it was crazy. I think it was like maybe like tickets around my birthday, so which is even crazy. But this at the time, me and Trina are like super early, so ain't nothing.
Yeah, I got you.
She probably telling me like, hey, happy birthday. Like it ain't. We ain't established to the point where it's just like, oh, this is my girlfriend. Like, no, we just still talking. But yeah, I found that out later on after we had probably been dating for like, I think we were probably engaged when she told me that story. But I was like, I was trying to get to the Braves game for free. But yeah, Shawty who ghosted me called me, and I was like, it was that defining moment. I was like, bro, if you answer this phone, you're gonna backpedal.
Yeah, that's dope.
Because that's the one you wanted.
Yeah.
And your ego kick in like, she coming. I
still got her.
I still got her. Like she thought about it.
Yeah.
Right.
She thought about that email. Was like, no. Let me call him. Check this out. And maybe it was one of those moments where she wanted to call and apologize. Who knows? But I did the right thing, and I'm cool with that decision to this day. Of like just sitting like I just let that bit ring.
Yeah. I feel you,
I'm
man.
like I ain't picking that one up, bro. I don't know what's gonna happen with that one. But yeah.
Yeah.
Good times, man. Good times down memory lane. So let's answer the second part of that question. Okay. Friendships.
How do you let them go?
How do you let those long...
I don't know if I ever had that.
I mean, if it's bad, yeah. I mean, you can have friends like, people that you still associate with, but it's not like you... I mean, you might talk to them every now and then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing... That's the only reason why I can think of if you feel like it's a stalled relationship, if they're like, if they're not an asset to your life, then it's just like, I see why you might be cutting them off. But I mean, if it's somebody, that's not bringing you down or anything. I mean, I have people I talk to every now and then, but I don't talk to them, often.
Often, right. Yeah. I think I'm similar to that too, right? Like I of course, your life just changed, bro, in seasons, because you think about like the women who used to be around, like they were platonic. It wasn't nothing going on, but like all of a sudden they not around anymore.
Yeah.
And I think back, I don't even know how those people kind of got weeded out.
I'm tripping.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it just happens. But for me, as far as friendships go, there was a point in my life where I was like, bro, one of my homeboys was just like, he wouldn't even own a different type of time, but he just went on the type of time where I was trying to be on at the time.
Yeah.
Like I was really trying to get like wipe the slate clean. I'm trying to like, yo, I'm going to church. You know how that,
for sure.
And my homeboy at the time, he wouldn't even, it wasn't like he was trying to draw me into that, but I just noticed like, bro, every time we got together, I was on demon time. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, all right, maybe I need to chill. And so like we kept our friendship, but it was just at an arm's length. So instead of like always around each other, it was just like, all right, I'll call you, check in every couple of months, see how you doing. But we ain't like going places together type thing. So I know at the time I had to do that because I was just like, bro, every time we get together, I'm making like bad decisions and to be fair, they're not bad decisions. They're just not the decisions that I need to be making at the time when I was trying to like get my life together. Yeah. It's like I can't be at the club 2:00 in the morning because that ain't really me. Or I ain't try to smash this random chick because like that really ain't me. And I was like, bro, last 3 times we went out, like we did these things. I'm like, all right, bro. Like, I was like, all right, man, let me chill for a second. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely had to like kind of take a step back. And like we still cool now, like we still talk, but it was just at the time I was just like, all right, let me call you instead of like coming to see you type thing. You know what I'm saying? And then that kind of worked itself out.
I'm tripping because when you first asked that second part of the question, I was just thinking about male friendships.
Yo.
But without question.
Yeah.
Without question, I've had that scenario with female, like close friendships where at a certain point it's just like, and for a lot of reasons, it's like this ain't going, this need to separate. Now, granted, I've been in a scenario where it was like, it's getting too it's getting beyond friendship, you know?
Right.
And yet, all right, let me say it like this. We're too close for what's going on in my life.
Yeah, I
with
got
somebody else. And this gonna be a barrier, you know, to where I want to go in this direction, because me and you got too much rapport. It's not that we've ever been involved, but
it's too much rapport.
It's too much rapport.
Yeah, I got you.
And I honestly feel like, you know, in the scenarios that I've seen, like men and women handle those situations differently. And maybe, you know, on both sides, like sometimes those things can be out of bounds. In my scenario, somebody was a little too familiar around my new chick, you know?
Yeah,
and
that's the
and
weirdness.
it was, nah, we're gonna have to create space.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a little tough.
We got to create that space right there. And you know, it was probably something that I probably took a more, I'm y'all know me, I'm a straight shooter. Like I don't shy away from saying it how it is. And I probably was a little abrupt with the message, you know, but the message was sent.
Yeah.
And,
hey, we can't kick it no more, man. You get too close.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can't go with me into the new year because
I had to work on my wording, you know. You had to work on my wording. But we got the message across.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, going into marriage was a whole nother tier of like, it's time to let some of those relationships go. And at that point, it's like, I typed a text to this girl I used to see.
That's so cute, you know? About who I want.
I mean, I apologize if this message gets you down.
That's so real,
hey,
right?
It was time to say deuces.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I mean, man, I wasn't that mature in that. You know what I'm saying? But definitely when I got, you know, serious about my wife, I was just like, I can't be around some of these women. You know what I mean? And it wasn't even, thankfully for me, like I had that defining moment the year before. So it was a little bit easier, but it was just like, man, you know, you getting serious with this woman and like, you really see a future with her. And it's just like, man, some of these friendships, whether they are self-serving or, you know, just solid friendships, you know that they're not going to fly with the marriage. And it was a gut check for me because I was like, oh, I'm not introducing these chicks to like wifey.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if I'm not introducing them, then they probably don't need to be like, because like perfect example, I had no problem introducing Nadine to Trina.
Yeah.
No problem at all. I was just like, yeah, Nadine, like this is Nadine. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, oh, she really like my only like female homegirl for real.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then like, all right, Erica, she already knew, but like Chi and Jasmine, like she know those people. Like I've introduced her to those people. So I was like, oh, if it ain't none of them, I got to let the rest of these go. Cause like, I'm not trying to
straight up
introduce you to her.
Straight up.
And I was like, even though ain't nothing happened with her, but I'm like, there's a reason why I haven't introduced you to her. So she don't need to be in the picture anymore, dude. Like you just gotta. And now I was immature. I didn't say anything. I just like, okay, I just ain't.
Yeah.
Like,
just let it fade to black.
Yeah, I just let it fade to black. It was just like, oh, okay, I haven't said anything to you. You see the pictures going up. Like, obviously, this is, you know, in a different direction. And then the one that I told you about, the one we was in the apartment with the phone situation. Did I tell you about that?
The phone situation.
God bless everybody on a different path now. But I'll never forget this day. And she's cool though, so I don't want it to come out like that because like we were like cool and you know, whatever. But I was helping her move and she ended up at the crib. And there was a phone situation, like it was like a cordless phone or something like that. It was like, oh, you can have a cordless phone. And so I'll never forget, bro, like she walked in the room and there was a picture of Trina on my computer desk stand. And bro, I turned to like do something and I just heard the door close.
So the girl walked out.
She left.
Oh.
And then I was like, oh,
I
this.
think you're talking about that.
I was like, oh, this is different. This wasn't what I thought.
But you didn't even know.
I didn't even know, but I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was.
Dang.
And like, to be fair, there was chemistry there.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, you know, me playing the gray area. Like, all right, chemistry, if she ain't budging, I ain't budging. And we just going to be here. We'll be friends for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But yeah, bro, I never forget that. Like, man, she walked in the room and saw that picture of Trina, dog. And when I tell you, I think, matter of fact, did she ask me? She may have asked me. She was like, "Yeah, who is that?" I was like, "Yeah, it's Trina." She was like y'all serious or something? I was like, "Yeah, I mean, her picture up here, you know." Dog, I turned to do. I can't. I just like turned to like maybe look at my bed or something. Dog, when I tell you, all I heard was the door close.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She hit that flash on you, bro. She was gone,
Bro. But it was so wild to me because it's like in that moment. Because I mean, I don't want to shoot no bell like to myself. Like I'm throwing myself up under the bus. At that time of my life, bro, I was just. It was at that moment when I realized, like, bro, you're a too gray area. Like you didn't define nothing, and so. But it was at that moment I was just like, oh, this was something completely different for her. And I could be wrong in thinking that, but the action
said something.
Yeah,
sent a message.
Because it was just like, what? Like what? I'm sitting there like, what's going on?
Dang, yeah.
Yeah, no, she saw that picture, bro, and when I said like yeah, she's special type thing, it was just like over with.
Just gone.
And I haven't talked to her since then, I don't think. Like I've seen her, Facebook, like, hey, how you doing? Like, but
see, I was the type that, I'm an only child. So I would have sisters. And see, both of y'all, like, 'cause y'all, I mean, it's a common,
man.
It's what guys do. Like, we just adopt, quote unquote, but we got these close friends, we like to keep ladies around or whatnot. Some are honestly very platonic. Like, it's nothing, nothing like that at all. But at the end of the day,
the other half, they like.
I mean, it's just at the end of the day, you just you have a list of people that you frequent or whatnot. It ain't got to be nothing special.
I got you.
But at that point of I do, wifey was like, ain't no sisters. Like, now who is that? Okay, yeah, that's cool. Appreciate you telling me the story. Ain't no sisters.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was the wisest thing like we could ever did. And we mutually were just like, nah, we gonna create this barrier where, because we both were very aware. We both honestly had the same type of like realities with the opposite sex. She had a lot of male friends. I had a lot of female friends. And it's like, let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
At a certain point in any given scenario, if we allow people outside of our circle, when I say our circle, we know who our circle is, right? If we allow anyone outside of that too much room and space, they could potentially create a problem. So let's alleviate the problem before they ever happen.
Right.
And we like intentionally removed people from our life.
Yeah.
For the sake of protecting our new marriage. And it honestly, like looking back in hindsight, like I'm so grateful.
Yeah, bro.
Wisest thing we ever did.
Smart. You got to. And you know what? And you have to be bold in those moments. And like, honestly, like, hey, sorry. Like, I pray that God covers you in the grace that's needed in this moment in time.
Those are the words I needed on New Year's Eve.
I pray that God covers you in the grace that's needed at this time,
man.
for my lack of judgment.
Yeah.
But I can't move forward in the way that I was moving.
Yeah.
And I pray that everything works out for you, but it's just not in my best interest to move on with this.
Hey, I hope y'all peeping the language. Are a lot of thinkers out there, because right now JD is giving you the script.
I'm trying to, bro. This is all from past discretions and trying to figure out how to navigate. But I mean, it's important, bro. Like all seriousness, like. Now I will say this: in a marriage is different, of course. Like I think in a marriage you gotta cut off, but I think in a relationship too you have to. But I just think that if you're gonna do that cutting off, make sure you're doing it because you want to, and not just because the other person wants to. You know what I'm saying? Because what you don't want to do is be in a situation where you are by yourself in a relationship. I've known people who get in a relationship and that relationship is just them and that person, and they lose all the friendships around them because that person becomes their all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, that's just not healthy, bro. Like if you with somebody, and maybe this might be triggering, so trigger warning, but if you with somebody that like alienate your friend group and make you feel like you can't have any friends, bro, male or female, you might want to rethink that relationship because something ain't right there.
I hear it with family too, boy. That's the crazy part, man.
Yeah.
Oh, like alienate, they make them alienate family?
Yeah, like they
that's kind of possessive, though.
They try to, my bad, I cut you
No,
off
no,
too,
just go ahead.
Yeah. Now, I'm just saying, like, I've heard of situations where, like, somebody is with somebody and they don't want them to have friends. They don't want them to really talk to their family. I'm like, man, that's wild.
Yeah, that's an abusive relationship.
That's different.
It's an abusive relationship, bro. You have to be very careful with that because it sneaks in, just like with anything, right? Because what happens, you have such a great time with that person, and you don't even realize that. Oh, bro, I'm spending 5, 6, 7 days with this person, and it might have been something where, like, okay, like, I'll use us as an example. Like, bro, we record the pod on Wednesday nights, sometimes Thursday nights. And then you just realize, like, bro, we don't even get up no more. Like, what's going on? Like, bro, y'all heard from Corey? Y'all heard from JD? Y'all heard from Marlon? Like, no, ain't in the group chat no more. Like, but those types of things happen because you're so gung ho about this relationship that you don't even realize, bro, you ain't talked to your mama in 2 months. You ain't talked to your homeboys in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? You ain't talked to nobody. It's just you and her. And it's like, bro, if you in that situation, trust me, that don't get better.
Yeah, that's real.
That ends up to be years of, like, bro, you'll have no contact with nobody. It's just you and that person. That's an abusive relationship, bro. You don't even realize it. Male or female. That's anybody. Real. Like, so if that's your situation, bro, all I'm saying is take a step to, like, just think about it. Yeah. Because that might not be the best situation for you. With that being said, been the Black Man Think podcast. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, do all the good things. If you like what you heard, make sure y'all join us on Patreon. We're streaming this episode live right now on Patreon. And they'll get this episode before you're actually hearing it. So if you want to be in that number, you can get that. You can also ask questions like we did with our Ask a Black Man segment. But if you want to do that, you need to join Patreon, and you can do it as a free trial member. Start that off, and then if you like it, keep going. But either way, we do appreciate your support. It's Black Man Think podcast, where we elevate our black men, because black men be out here thinking. See y'all next week.
The Black Men Think podcast.